What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be playing around with a title called Gnomes. Apparently, the Nerd Castle has been gnomed. In this game, you are a batch of psychotic, stabby gnomes that are trying to hold back the forces of darkness from ruining your garden, alright? You want to grow pumpkins so that you can make a sweet-ass pumpkin pie, and all these goblins and gremlins and orcs and everything else are messing with the equation. So for the next 30 minutes, we're going to take a look at this demo, see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list, or if it's one of those games that's just not for you. If after watching this, you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description. But let's do some first impressions. I guess we've got different guilds of gnomes out here too. There's rogues, there's lumberjacks, rangers, champions, militia. Okay, so we've got a number of different factions of gnomes that are lining up to stab the enemy in the face. It looks like we've also got a number of different demo levels to play too. Alright, so at the beginning of the game, we gotta buy a house. Alright, let's buy a house. Is that like fertile ground or something like that? Oh, we can only put crops over there. Okay. Well, let's put in like a little gnome hut, and it wants me to have a knife-wielding maniac Michael Myers gnome just running around and like stabbing people in the face. Let's get some of those right there. Yeah, we can get sunflowers. I'm just gonna drop a bunch of sunflowers. That way I can make money every single round. And it looks like the enemies are gonna come out of there, and it's spawning regular goblins. It looks like he gets XP for every goblin that he kills. Very nice. So he's now got 5 bodies on his jacket. He's officially murdered 5 men. Good for him. A goblin tent with regular goblins. It says it's going to spawn 5 of them. All right. There's also a shop over here where we can buy relics, or it looks like we can buy items and different crops and different things that allow us to kind of cultivate the land a little bit better. Do we have a location with our next fertile ground so that I can figure out where I can place crops next? No? Okay, that's fine. Let's drop another gnome house in, and let's get another gnome right there. And then we'll kind of just like send this thing. What's his name? Snexon Twiddlethatch. That's a solid gnome name right there. That's an old gnome name right there. That's one of those gnome names that you don't want to disrespect. Can I place these out here? Oh, I can. Interesting. So as we're taking over territory, we kind of need to get used to planning for the future and where we're going to grab our next little batch of land from. Okay, so let's keep my gnomes all nice and saddled on in. I think, what is this doing over here? Spawns stronger goblins. There's 5 of them. Okay. Are these guys going to be able to handle it? They've got 1 damage. How tough are these guys over here? They've got 2 HP. Maybe we'll be able to handle it. Let's find out. Yeah, just full send. Oh, those goblins have hats on. That's how they're different. Actually, it looks like he can handle like... Oh, he leveled up. Nice. So now he deals 2 damage. Hell yeah. Summons many small goblins. Okay, well, let's just line the road for an ambush over on this side. We've only got $10, so there's not much that I can do with that. Let's work on getting a 3rd gnome real quick, and then we'll kind of just send it off. So these guys get different colored hats based on how effective of killers they are. Little bit of trickle-down XP going towards that Backlands knife gnome right there. What do they have now? Lumberjack goblins? Okay, so lumberjack and goblins. We'll get 1 little ambusher right there. And I just got another goblin right there. So we'll place them on that side, although that leaves me a little bit financially tapped out for right now. Send it. We've got it figured out, and now we've got 2 level 2 gnomes, so that might make things a little bit easier. Why are they all exclamation pointing at me? What does that mean? I don't honestly know what the little exclamation points mean. Do those slow down? Oh, those slow down enemies. Do they slow us down? Can I ambush from the swamps? It doesn't look like I can. So put him right there, and what's coming right now? So we've got goblin recruits. We've got stronger goblins. Okay, so everything here has kind of like 2 HP, but they're going to be flooding on through. What happens if I force them to reroute? Ooh, if I force them to reroute, that actually works out okay because then they get stuck in the water, which makes them slower. So we can kind of like force a reroute here too. So there's kind of like a strategy to where you want to place your little gnome guys in order to maximize their DPS potential. And so sacrificing one to put him up there so that we can do other stuff. Not the worst plan. That's 8 gold right there. I'll take 8 gold. Send it, and let's just kind of like see how this plays out. I mean, it looks like that frontline goblin is stacking some serious W's. Not a good day to be a goblin. Good day to be a gnome, though. He's getting closer to a level up. These guys are coming down this way. What happens if I just block that right there? It kills him? Okay, cool. That's just what I wanted to figure out. So that line right there is actually, we kind of want to wait to ambush till this side. Many small goblins. All right. I think I have enough money to give me another house. And now that I have another house, I can get another goblin too. Or I'm sorry, I can get another gnome right here. Let's put him up front. Actually, let's put the newbie gnomes up front. Maybe arrange this a little bit further back so that the new guys can get some kills. Because we kind of want to be maximizing our gnomish level ups for right now. And this is kind of like a really good wave to do that on. Yeah, he leveled up to 2, so I think that'll help us in the long term. Can I buy anything from the shop so we can get a property deed? Gnomes deal more damage when they're adjacent to houses or caravans. We can get a bell that gives me a banish. We can also get coffee. +1 per day, and nearby gnomes get minus 20% on their attack cooldown. Might be useful. What are we up against on this round? Big goblins that have 8 HP. Okay. So let's say that I force that to go around right there. Put you right there. Get this guy all nice and saddled up right there, and have you as sort of like a backline fighter. We should have the damage here, provided he gets off a couple double attacks. But let's expand our housing a little bit. We'll put some guys in the woods over there because that just seems thematically relevant for right now. They're cheeseburger goblins. Gotcha. Well, since they're moving slower, we should be able to get some extra hits off. Good stuff. All right, so we've got 10 HP now. These guys are going through the woods on this side. It looks like they do have lumberjack goblins in there. With my 2 extra cap, I should be able to do something, but the problem here is that that's a real short run to my base. Let's force them to reroute right there with some of my gnomes. Maybe put one guy right there to just be like an agent of chaos. And we'll put them right there. And hopefully that works out for us. Yeah, I was kind of hoping he would act as a wild card and just thin them out as they go. Oh, we've got so much arable land over here. Okay, but we've got all cheeseburger goblins now. And it actually looks like we're kind of set up for the next fight already, as long as I put them right there, give them a little bit of adjacency. I have 1 extra gnome that I can deploy, and I would consider reinforcing right there just to keep my population cap sort of like creeping upwards. Let's get another flower right there too, so that we've got 9 money coming in per round. Okay, 1 got through. I can live with that. That was a really busy little nook right there, so I wasn't totally sure what was going to happen on that run, but it'll do for now. We've got a multi-side attack. We've got many small goblins coming from this way. And so I think we're going to need 2 over there to stop maybe 10 of them. I don't know that for certain. And these are also many goblin spawns. Okay. Force these to come together. And sort of play around with the elbows the best you can. They've got 20 coming from that way and 10 coming from this way, so maybe space them a little bit better. Let's have a look at the shop and see if there's anything that helps us. Our gnomes have 35% crit chance, and their cooldown gets longer. Okay. We've got foxglove. Nearby gnomes get XP every day. And then we've got swamp rice. I'll buy the swamp rice. That sounds alright. We'll get the swamp rice because we've got swamp tiles around, but we do want to be kind of careful about the way we populate tiles here, just because the enemy is going to be filtering through there, and I don't know if there's a world where the enemy can kind of just mash their way through and destroy our crops. So that's kind of what I'm worried about right now. So we've got armored goblins on this side. Armored goblins are going to be a little bit more hectic, but I think we can handle it so long as we set up our ambushes to be real nice. How many are there going to be? There's going to be 5. Okay. We've got a lot of level 2 gnomes right now. And they have how much HP? 8, so it takes like 4 attacks to bring one down. Fair. What do I have inside of here? We've got a fruit basket. Gnomes +1 per day when adjacent to trees. Yeah, I'll take that. These guys are all adjacent to trees. So I think that might work out pretty well for us right there. I kind of like that. This sort of an archery gnome. Yeah, I'll get an archery gnome. I want to see what the archery gnome does, but I can't do that until we got enough money to get one. Okay, so it looks like there is a timing where they get through right there. Fair enough. We lost a little bit of HP. That's a bit of a downer, but I think I can live with it. So this is a very, very busy pathway. These guys have 4 HP, and they're all coming down this way, and there's going to be quite a few of them. So I think at minimum we're going to need like a 3 goblin kill squad right there. We've got cheeseburger goblins coming that way, going through the swamps. We've got lumberjack goblins coming down that way. I don't see a whole lot of ways to make this work. Maybe move you over to there, but I think we're going to have to grow our we're going to have to grow our gnome population, dude. I don't think there's any way around it. Yeah, let's get a hut. Or 2. And then I've got an archery gnome over here. And it looks like they can kind of fire where they want to fire, so I'll put him right there. He only deals 1 damage, though. So it's going to depend how hard he hits. And I think for now, that's about the best that I can do, so just send it. Let's kind of see how this plays out. I'm paranoid about losing, but... Oh, he cleaves? Okay. I can respect it. Not the best wave, though. Like, we actually cleared better than I thought we would. Like, this side was prepared, and we got a lot of the ones from over there, but unfortunately, that setup didn't work. This is a little bit more generous. So we've got a bunch of armored goblins. They're all coming down this way, so we want the bow gnome right there. We definitely want all of our level 2s adjacent to trees if they can be, so that we get extra money. It's kind of a waste of a gnome. I guess I can put him... Oh, he's not going to be... Okay. There's not a lot of things that I can do right now with my trees. Give me another archery gnome, too. I like these archery gnomes. These archery gnomes are sick. Let's put one in right there because he's got, like, the cleave to him, and that sounds pretty good. Over here, we can buy a chalice, gain 2 gold every time a health is lost. Okay. A chanterelle. Gnomes get damage when adjacent to trees, so there's our synergies coming on in. Gotcha. All right, send these guys on in here. Let's see what happens as they're moving down the chain. 2 of them made it through. Unfortunate. Okay, well, we've got 25 right there. We've just got to survive a little while longer because we're on the well, we've got like 2 days left, okay? It's not looking great, but we've got 2 days left. With 25 gold, I would say let's get 2 houses, and we'll get 2 archery gnomes that we can kind of park on these little paths. I don't actually properly know what my play is right now. I think we're toast on this wave, so I'm just going to send it, and we'll take a look and kind of see what our next... Oh, they're immune to archery. Yeah, that'd do it. That would definitely be effective at knocking over my kingdom. Okay, so the gnomes have died. What happens next? So we've unlocked the lumberjacks, and we've unlocked the rangers. Sick. Let's go ahead and try those over there. Let me choose my gnome race again. So I'm going to go with the lumberjacks on this run, I think, just to see what they do differently, because we are playing in a forest. So it looks like they've got a sawmill that gives you gold per day per adjacent tree. That's nice. I think I can live with that. We start with 30 gold. Okay. I don't see any 4-banger spots where we get the maximum amount out. So let's just take a 3 where we can get it. We'll drop a house right there. He does 2 damage, but he attacks very slowly. Okay. We'll put him right there. And maybe we'll just get some extra gold gen right there. Good stuff. All right, looks like we're solid. Our little ambush worked out. What do they have? Regular goblins, and they spawn on a 0.85, so he should still be good if we properly apply the mathematics that the game is making us privy to right now. Let's continue to make our economy a little bit better, because I think we're going to need money over everything else. And since the spawn rate is exactly the same as his cooldown, he should be able to handle this camp without a problem. And now he deals 3 damage. Leto Wiggle Whip. We've got stronger goblins over here, but they've got the exact same spawn pattern as the last ones, meaning that his cooldown should still be good enough to kill all these while we work on our economy and look for good spots to put in lumber mills. So we should be getting 12 out of our lumber mills right now, as far as I can tell. It doesn't look like we have a stats page that tells us how much we're generating per turn. I would like to see something like that. He's going to have to kill a lot of goblins before he becomes an effective member of our society. The small goblins are going to be a little bit more challenging, so we're going to have to filter those a little bit better. Let's give ourselves another hut right there, and we'll give ourselves another wood chopper on that side, and we'll kind of just hope that that works out, I think. They may be able to run the blockade here, though, which has me a little tiny bit worried. They are having to swoop around him, though. Oh, and it looks like they get cleaving. Oh, they do. They cleave 3 tiles at a time. Well, these guys are just little sex magnets then. These guys are rad. Okay, let's focus on. We've got 13 gold right there. Is there anything in the shop that'll make our lives easier? +1 population from all houses and caravans. That's kind of huge because it doubles the amount of pop we get so that we can avoid building houses for longer. And it doesn't really charge us extra money for the same building. I can take that. I like that. The gold top mushroom. Gnomes gain 50% less XP, but they use less population. I don't think that's the direction we're going in, since these guys hit hard and also cleave. So let's turn him that way. And that's got most of our population taken care of. I don't know that my economy is exactly where I want it to be just yet, but maybe someday. Good stuff. So we've got 12 over there. Presuming that we may have a good spot. I definitely don't want them to go around that way. So what are these guys doing? We've got stronger goblins, but they all get 1-tapped. And our cooldowns line up exactly with them, so I think we should be okay here. I'm going to put him right there as a rear guard, so he gets one last swipe off before the enemy can do anything. But let's spend a little bit of cash. And we'll get a little bit more gold from over there. And then we'll also build another goblin hut real fast. I'm sorry, a little gnome hut. Goblins, gnomes, dude. I keep mixing them up. I've probably done that 100 times in this episode, huh? Oh, one managed to sneak through, so I'm glad I put that rear guard gnome in there. That's nice. All right, so they're all coming from the right this time. Many small goblinos. Put you right there. Maybe put you right there for a finalized swipe. We've got 6 population ready to rock. Let's try... Ooh, there's a 4-banger right there. I'll take that 4-banger. Anything buyable. So we've got coffee. We get more money per day, and nearby gnomes get faster cooldown reduction. Is there anything kind of... All of our fertile land is kind of over there for right now. So not useful right now, but maybe someday. Gnomes gain money when adjacent to trees. That was good for us last time. I'll take that. And then I'll try to make sure that everybody's adjacent to a tree here before we end. Big cleaves. Big, beautiful cleaves. And big, beautiful money. I'll take it. That's the good stuff. All right, so big, beautiful money's been taken care of. Let's see. So we've only got 1 attack pattern over here with 8 HP guys. Okay, we'll put you right there. Put you right there. Maybe put you out front. Those spawn every second, so we should have enough time to get enough chops off on them. I've got lots and lots of extra money. I've got lots of things going. Your gnomes can stand in swamps. That's huge. I'll take that. And then we've got a free reroll. We've got a bamboo over here. It's a tree that blocks enemies and spreads every single day. Probably banish. Black hole immediately grants +5 banishes when chosen. I'll take it in case I end up needing them. Give me a free reroll. And then we've got rocks can be moved. That might be helpful, actually. Because I can use rocks to block paths and kind of guide the enemies around. Adjacent crops earn extra money. Okay. Goblin amounts are doubled. Good for XP, but I don't know if I'm brave enough just yet. Give me another axe goblin over here. We'll have him do his thing. But now that I can move these rocks, I can, like, block off paths. So bring all my rocks over here. How many rocks do I have available? I've just got 3 for right now. But these are, for all intents and purposes, these are an extra unit right here that I can use to block and kind of form the path in my image if I desire to do so. And so the complexity of this game is starting to come out. I'm beginning to like what I see right now. So Fat Boy Cheeseburger Goblins, go ahead and knock the BK out of them. Good stuff. Didn't make that much money because only 2 of my guys were adjacent to trees. Attack pattern this time around is exactly the same as last time. So we'll just leave everything where it's at. Let's focus on possibly... There's not a lot of great spots left. We'll put you right there so that we get the gold bonus. I'm going to put you right there so we get the gold bonus. I could have done that better. This is definitely one of those games for people that like to fiddle. This is one of those fiddle-heavy titles. Put you right there, and I'll put you right there because I could use a few more leveled up gnomes. He's already gone up to level 2, which is fantastic. Good stuff. Give me all that money. All right, so what are we looking at here? We've got a pretty simple path. If I go like that, I can space them out a little bit. You be next to a tree. You be next to a tree. You be right there. You be right there next to a tree. 2 more left to go. We'll put you right there. We'll put you right there, and then let's see what the shop's got for us. So we've got hedges. They block enemies. We've already got rocks, so we don't really need that. Lotuses will only grow on swamps, and they spread every single day. We've also got supplies. The shop now has 4 items. I'll take that. Give me an extra item. I'll also take the lotus for extra finances because we do have a few isolated swamps out here. I was kind of eyeballing this one. And so those will spread turn by turn, and hopefully my battle grid right here is good enough to kill these guys off. Yeah, we're looking golden. There we go. Give me my monies. Oh, they did. They spread like crazy. Okay, that's what I like to see. The attacks are starting to get a little bit more interesting. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to force them onto one path. And I'm sort of just playing around with rocks, seeing where I can get all these guys to. But I think that'll do. Like, I think this will be okay. We want people to be next to trees, if we can manage it, for the extra gold bonus. We can stand in swamps, which is a huge benefit because the enemy has to slow down to go through a swamp. But it may be time to use a little bit of our cash to increase our pop cap. Let me get another gnome right there and another gnome right there because these guys are not only... Every gold that I don't spend is money that I'm not making on the next round. So I'm actually handicapping my economy by not having as many gnomes out next to trees as I possibly can. And we've got a health potion, so that restores our city's health. We've got wheat. It gets +1 when it's adjacent to other wheat. I'll go ahead and take that. That sounds good. And let's send this thing. So we've got the little goblins, but luckily with the amount of cleaving we have, we should be okay. Yeah, perfect. Good money coming on out. And then we're going to go with wheat on this one, just to diversify the economy a little bit, make it spread out a tiny bit. We've got armor goblins over here. good opportunity to make some money. So I'm going to put you right there, put you right there. Everybody next to a tree, please. And now I have everybody arranged. Everybody's next to a tree like they're supposed to be. Send it. These armor goblins getting got. Lumberjacks seem a lot better than the previous group, but maybe I just didn't grab... Okay, maybe I lied. Maybe I just didn't grab enough different gnome types. So after rearranging my rocks on that particularly nasty grid... I might have it about as good as it can get. It's hard to say. Gnomes being allowed to be placed inside of a swamp may save us on this one. So on that path, we have 4 gnomes. On this path, we have 3. Guess it depends how hot and spicy they decided to come at me on this wave. We do have a lot of cash right now, though. We've got toilet paper. Gnomes fertilize the soil at the end of every day. Cactuses... They deal damage when the enemies go by on adjacent tiles. Okay. I'll take those. We've got the wolf claw. Gnomes have lower cooldown when they're alone. We have beans. Adjacent ground to beans becomes fertile on the next day. Give me a reroll real quick. We've got a flail gnome. 2 damage and they stun the enemy. Flail gnome might bring it home. Let's get a flail gnome. And what does that do? The wolf heart. Gnomes have crit when they're alone. So there's like lone wolf builds too where you kind of want to like spread out your gnomes. Okay, well I have enough money right now. Let me have a flail gnome right there to stun him up. A flail gnome right there to stun him up. And that's about all I can do for right now, but we're a little cramped at the moment for how this fight is going to go. So give me a couple more gnome houses and just send it. If we lose, we lose. I'm already kind of fascinated with this game right now. It don't look like much, but it actually is some... Dude, axe gnomes are busted, bro. Axe gnomes, so much better than... You know what? I'm breaking off my relationship with previous garden gnomes. We are now lumberjack gnomes. Lumberjack gnomes, superior gnomes. Let it be proclaimed throughout the gnomish kingdom that we are better. We'll put that right there. We'll put that right there. I'm trying to get people adjacent to trees so that I get free money. But they're not making it simple. That looks okay to me. I think that's workable. What's inside the shop right now? The Dream Catcher. We gain a banish every time we buy an item. Dynamite. Blow things up with no refunds. Landmines. A caravan. +1 population. And it also blocks enemies so that they can't move through your little tent trailer. Might be useful. Situationally anyways. These are movable. Okay, so they're like extra rocks so that I can force enemies onto the tracks that I want. So I will take that actually. I'll also take landmines. Landmines deal 9 damage and it seems like they might be really helpful for certain waves. I mean, if I can plant a landmine right there, the enemy has to step on that, so it at least gives me one last ditch effort. And we want this flail gnome to be in the middle of these gnomes so that he's stunning them while they're inside this guy's attack range, so that he sits there and he cleaves them after they get stunned, so he gets extra attacks. Yeah, I think that's about what we want to do. A weirdly cerebral game. Kinda surprised me. I was not expecting this game, given its visual flair and the simplicity of its press kit, to actually be a game that is as intellectual as it is, where you've got to kind of like sit and you've got to play around with paths. Can these guys break through rocks? It looks like they can. They can't break through 2 rocks, though. Well, this game impressed me. I'm gonna be honest with you, like the first half of the video, so that first run, I didn't really enjoy the game too much. I was kind of like, all right, well, let me get a handle on this thing, but the second run here, with the lumberjacks, the real synergies and the amount of things that we can do, they're starting to come out, and it's clear that this game was designed from the ground up to be a low overhead game that has a ton of replayability and quite a bit of depth when it comes to the interactions between the different characters and the different relics and the different plants and the different buildings that you can build and the different tactics you can employ through manipulation of the battlefield and whatnot. And so anyways, I like it. I think this game is really, really awesome. It has a CRT filter and a screen shake going on that it allows you to enable and disable. That was the only thing that I was going to complain about. This is one of those games that is much more than meets the eye. I'm excited to see what this game's going to look like when it comes out in a final release. This is good. This is Gnomes. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. This was a pretty solid banger now that I'm starting to see all the strings and threads. I'll see y'all later. Take care, folks.